I like legit need to move. I don't know how I'm supposed to work when the people above me own a treadmill. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I apologize if you hear that incredibly annoying noise. I don't know, I never know if the mic is picking it up, but the people above me own a treadmill, which I think should be illegal in apartment buildings. And they've been using it for like 3 fucking hours. Anyway, let's talk about highlight. This was requested a long time ago. People wanted me to talk about how highlighting changes your face. Now, there's like 2 different definitions of highlighting in my opinion. You've got highlighting with concealer, which does a lot. It's basically the reverse of contour, and that really, really changes your face. I mean, you're specifically drawing attention to a certain area of your face. You're highlighting it, right? Think about a painting. The highlights are what are light and come forward in space. I talk about this all the time. Contour is a shadow. The shadow is like back here. It's back in space. Highlighting with a highlighter is like the cherry on top, okay? It's like you turn your face and you get that bomb ass like reflect on the top of your cheekbone. It's all about the high points of the face, okay? So when you use concealer, you're kind of like changing things structurally. I want to bring a little more light to this area. When you're highlighting, it's a combination of that and glowy ass skin. You know what I mean? I think there's a little bit more leeway when it comes to highlighting with an actual highlighter. Today I'm going to be using Becca Cosmetics Moonstone because it's my like OG, my go-to. I can't live without it. It's perfect for my skin tone. So like typically people know tops of the cheekbones, right? High points of the face. But there are different like techniques that you can use that will change the way your face looks. Right? So let's do it. Okay, I've got this little Morphe Y14 brush, little gold guy, little highlighting brush. Love this. It's already got like glittery highlight all over it. So first let's start off with the forehead. In my opinion, there are 2 different ways that people typically like highlight their foreheads. The first time that I saw someone do this, I think it was Kim Kardashian's makeup artist. I don't know how to say his last name. And what he does, because she has an incredibly like oval face, and it's quite long. He likes to highlight right in the center of her forehead, right here. So as I turn, you can see that it like draws all of the attention right here. Bringing all of your attention right here helps to kind of like round the forehead. It kind of pushes all of this stuff back in space. Now, if you watched my other videos about like bronzing and contouring, then you know I have a pretty large forehead when I push my hair back. And I like to shorten my forehead a little bit by bringing my bronzer in a little more. Doing this motion right here, putting this little highlight right here, obviously if skin permits, because if you have a bunch of breakouts there, it's not gonna be cute. Keep that in mind. I mean, not that it won't be cute, but it will draw more attention to them. It's kind of going to minimize or round out a more square forehead. I personally like that kind of shape, but I would say that maybe this is a little bit softer. Now, the other way is actually going to do the opposite of that. It's going to enhance a more square shape, and that is, let me just give myself a really bad hairdo for a second. Highlighting just above the brow bone. So a little bit in front of the temple, highlighting right here. As I turn my head, you're kind of bringing this area right here forward a little bit more. So it's creating a little bit more of a square shape. This area is going back into, now they're running the fucking shower. Like, I can't with these people. So it's bringing this part of my face, which already does kind of like come forward even more. And if you imagine that this isn't here, then this part of my forehead is going back in space a little bit, and so is this. So it's kind of like it's making it a little bit more like that shape, which is going to accentuate a more square shape. So if you have a very, very like round, soft featured face and you want it to be a little bit more angular, you could think about doing that. Now for the cheekbones, I have higher cheekbones. Eastern European. I love to highlight like right at the top of my cheekbone. It's also where I apply my blush. I like all of the height to be up there. That is where I like to highlight. I like to go right, like if you turn your face, you can kind of see like this is like right where it's the part that points out the most, I guess. So I like to highlight there. And I kind of like to do that C shape, you know, where I kind of bring it up here a little bit. But focusing it right here is going to be a lot more flattering on my face shape, because a million times, how many times am I going to reference Chrissy Teigen and her big round cheeks? I don't have those. It goes in a little bit more here, right? So the height of my like cheek area is really my cheekbone way up here. So I like to highlight that area. And then kind of like stop it here, because if you did watch my video about blush placement, placing my blush a little bit higher up on my cheekbone helps to kind of like emphasize the lift to my face. Bringing it down onto the cheeks, onto like the rounder part of the cheeks, just kind of drags my face down. So if you feel like that is something that you're like dealing with, and you're bringing your like blush and your highlight down here, you might want to try keeping it a little bit higher up on your cheekbone. I do want to show you highlighting like this. Oftentimes I see people, I know Jaclyn Hill is one of those people. She's got those big round Chrissy Teigen cheeks. So she likes to highlight here. So I'm not really bringing it up onto my cheekbone. I'm just focusing the highlight, the high point of my cheek. So you can see like when I smile, you get that reflect more from the front. You don't get a reflect from the front on this side. But as I turn, it's up to you, you decide. Me personally, like that looks not terrible, but this is the area that I have larger pores. So the more I highlight that area, it draws more attention to that. It also like, I tend to get more oily in this area throughout the day. So I don't want to bring my highlight in too, I almost said quickly, far, because it can just like end up making me look even more greasy and oily throughout the day. Not cute. I feel like those are the basic areas. I like sometimes highlighting my chin because I have a tiny little chin. Look at this little tiny chin. And it doesn't really stand out that much. I do like to highlight it with concealer as well, but sometimes I will add just a little bit of a highlight right there just to bring it forward just like a little bit more. I like highlight throughout the face, so that's something that I do. Obviously, if you don't want to bring more attention to your chin, or if you have a chin that comes out a lot, you know, don't do it. Or if you think it makes you look sweaty. Brow bone, inner corner, I feel like those are like speak for themselves. We don't really need to go into that. But nose, let's talk about nose really quick. I need my nose highlighting brush. So for the nose, you once again, consider that when you are highlighting your nose, if you highlight all the way down the bridge, you're bringing all of that forward, right? Now my nose, it's not huge. I don't hate it, but it's not teeny. It's not super feminine. It's quite straight when I turn, like it's straight this way. And I do have a bump right here, which, you know, I try to fix with nose contouring, but it doesn't really do that much. But I try to minimize the attention to this area as much as possible. So when I highlight my nose, I also really like to make the tip look a little bit more cut. I've already done that. So, you know, I like to place my highlight. I mean, you can kind of see like where the light is hitting. I like to place it maybe just like a teeny bit above that and just there, just a teeny bit. That's it. And I don't like to bring it out a lot because it can make the end of my nose look even wider, and I'm not trying to do that, right? So I just wiped off my brush to just remove a little bit of product, and I'm just going to diffuse that a little. So it just kind of like placing it up kind of like forces the light to shine there. So I'm kind of like creating the illusion that the tip of my nose is a little bit higher. And then I also like to highlight right here in this area. Now the reason that I highlight this whole area is because this part of my nose gets quite narrow. So I want to bring a little bit more attention to this, which is going to make this area look a little bit thinner. If I highlight this, it's going to look a little bit more even, in other words, because obviously my nose kind of goes like that. I used to highlight down the bridge, but I don't do that anymore. I only keep it right here and then the tip, because like I said, I want to minimize the attention that is brought to my bump. So I just don't even touch that. And while I turn, okay, for real, as I turn, the light is reflected here and here, but not in this area, which is going to help keep that back in space and bring these a little bit more forward, which is going to kind of like, it's going to trick the eye a little bit into thinking that I have a little bit more of a swoop. Listen, there's only so much you can do, you know what I mean? But this is my theory. All right, once again, the Dude series. You guys, super quick and easy, but hopefully I shed a little bit of light onto where you should place your highlight. Personally, I think you have a lot more like freedom when it comes to, you know, your shimmery highlight, because it really just has more to do with the area of your face that's catching a little bit of light. It's gonna emphasize more like healthy skin. I kind of switch it up. Sometimes I highlight the center of my forehead. Sometimes I highlight over here. Do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Anyway, let me know what your favorite highlighting technique is, I guess. Do you like emphasizing more like square shape? Do you like creating like a softer round look? This is my green smoothie. And I guess that's it. And I will see you next time. hopefully. I'm all uneven. We're just gonna be shiny everywhere today. Or just put it everywhere. And it's fine.